Okay, good evening, everybody. I want to officially welcome us to this batch 2 first training of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. This program is proudly sponsored and powered by OG Tech Networks Limited, located in Abuja, Nigeria. So, without wasting much of our time, we're going to dive in to look at what we'll be doing today. But before we write some bit of code, we assume all of us are novices that we knew nothing about HTML, because I want to start from the basics. Now, whether you know HTML before now or you don't know HTML before now, what I'm going to be showing you, you're going to learn a lot, because I'll be showing you the latest syntax of HTML5. I'm sure most of us here have never heard of the latest HTML syntax, so you have a lot to learn here. Now, first of all, what is HTML? Just as we all know, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. HTML is a standard markup language for documents designed to be displayed in a web browser. Every web browser, any web browser at all that you have seen displaying content, has HTML code running behind the scene. So I will move straight to my text editor. I'm going to be using Visual Studio Code for this training. Initially today I told us, for those of us using PC, I said install Visual Studio Code on your system, on your PC. But I'm sure all of us or most of us are using smartphones. So whether you're using a smartphone or a system, definitely it's the same process. I'm sure you will follow along. So I want to create a new file, then I'll call it first work.html. Now I want to explain. Let me close this. Don't forget I said I am starting from the basics. So I want to assume that we are all novices here, despite I believe we have we understand one or two stuff regarding this, but let's assume that we are all novices so that everyone can flow along with us. So every programming language has its syntax. Take note of this. All programming languages are the same except their syntax. So HTML has its own syntax, and the syntax of HTML. Now initially, since I'm using my text editor, I can just do this and I enter. It automatically bring up my the syntax of HTML and stuff like that. But since I want everybody to follow along, I'm not going to do this. So I want to do this. We have HTML. Now I want to be explaining everything bit by bit. And this is a tag. This is the opening tag, but there's a closing tag. Now take note of the rules of HTML. Every opening tag must have a corresponding closing tag. Hope you are seeing what I'm doing. Every opening tag must have a corresponding closing tag. Then we have the head inside of it. You see, once I close it, it automatically ends it. So inside the head we have the title. The title. Now let's call this first work. Right? Every closing tag must have a corresponding every opening tag must have a corresponding closing tag. Now outside the title, outside the head, we have the body. Now before I start writing some bit of code, let me explain something here again. Now the first opening tag, these are the rules of HTML that you should take note of. The first opening tag must be the last closing tag. What do I mean by that? Let's say we have H1. Though I have not explained this, you don't need to worry much about it. I just want to explain something there. So we have the opening tag here and the closing tag. Now let's say I want to add another. Let's say I want to add an anchor tag on it, right? If you notice now, inside the H1, which is header 1, I have not explained this, just relax, I'm going to explain this later on. Inside the H1 we have the anchor tag, that is the A. If you notice now, the first opening tag here, which is H1, became the last closing tag. The anchor tag here now, which was the last opening tag, became the first closing tag. So whatever which we type here now, we become a link. Now, okay, let me clean up this, since this is not what I'm talking about. Okay, now, so we want to write our first code in HTML. Don't forget, we're starting from the basics. Now take note of this, that this is the skeleton of HTML. This is HTML skeleton. Every code must be written inside the body. That is a standard, and you must do this. So take note of this, learn this, practice it, and make sure you go over and over. If possible, try to memorize this, because when you are trying to type in or write some code, you'll be needing this. So I will stop here for this first section. When I come back, I will take us straight to the second section. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry, that's not what I mean to do. Okay, thank you.